Hi everyone, so we're on to day 16 now and I'm going to do some Northern Lights. This is the only time in my life that I've ever used neat Viridian Green I don't think I'll ever use neat Viridian Green again. Okay, so I have already cocked up this page. It was bound to happen with a concertina file, so basically I'm going to incorporate this into the design. And this is going to become part of the sky and be covered by trees. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of a border. That's the water onto the sky. I'm going to use a number 6. I'm using a number 6 because Viridian and Phthalo Blue are both very shooty pigments. So we're going to start with a little bit of permanent rose. And we're going to bring some of that into the sky. Rinse my brush out. I'm going to come in to some Breathtaking Viridian Green. Makes a lovely turquoise with white Viridian Green. I'm then going to come into some intense Phthalo Blue. Bring that around a little bit. Some of that down here. Basically using the Phthalo Blue to know where my border is. Then I have got Payne's Grey, so we're going to go nice and dark, starting at the top. The top we can afford for it to flow a lot more, so this is where we start at the top. Payne's Grey is also made with Phthalo Blue, and so far it is quite shooty. So we're going to bring this through, and now we are bringing this through but not eliminating all of the colour, because this is what Northern Lights is, the colour in the sky. So we want some of this to blend through, but some to stay and remain. And then just as I've come further down, I'm just going to do a little circular motion and spread what I have on the brush. So it's mixing with what's there. I'm starting to get those different colours. So at first I've gone quite diagonal. Now I'm spreading it through. Just try and get a neat edge here on that border, on the border. So it's already looking lovely. The Viridian Green is slightly drying, so I need to fix that by taking in a little bit more. So I've dampened the brush. Should never take in water, just take in additional paint on a damp brush, and that will always fix any sort of watermark that's happening. You can take a little bit more of the rose in places as well, if you want to power it up at all. It's looking really lovely and effective. The last thing I want to do is, just with this blue, is get a nice edge down here to the snow. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit more of the blue. There's not a lot of water on my brush because I know it's drying now, but I am taking a little bit of paint in. Okay, so I'll dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I'm going to bring a little bit of water into the snow area, and I'm just going to reflect very lightly some colour into here. I've left a small gap because I want the snow at the back to be quite white. So I've got a little bit of rose coming in there and a little bit of blue. And a little bit. You've got to be very careful how much you're picking up. Rinse your brush off if it comes off and there's loads of it. You want a nighttime feel, but it not to overtake the fact that it's snow. So at the moment it still looks quite snow-like. Then I'm going to come in to some Payne's Grey. So I need this to be fairly thick, and what I'm going to do is create some pine trees or fir trees, and I'm using, because we were really quite small, I don't need to use that flicking out motion. I'm just using a horizontal, so I'm starting small and then getting bigger. I'm just using a horizontal stroke. This is still with my round number 6. And I just want you to do a few trees, but vary the height so that they're different sizes. A big one here. They can come in together, so you can have ones that overlap. If you're struggling, swap down to a smaller brush. So this is my detailer. Just want to make that a little bit more pointy at the top. And I'll do a small one with the detailer as well. Odds always work better than evens, so I'm going to go with 5. We'll have a little one just here. So it's really, really effective, because as soon as you get that dark on, it makes the sky look lighter and works really nicely. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. That's not quite dry. So I am going to use a little bit of iridescent medium. You don't have to use this, but I like a little bit of sparkle in here. And I'm just going to sweep through some sparkle into the sky. So this is a watercolour medium. It's got a fine bit of sparkle. It's great for stars. Works fantastically on dark paint. So I'm just sweeping through and creating some bits of stars that are going to work really nicely. I'll pop a link for the medium just in the description, just in case you want to buy it. It's not essential, it'll still work without it. So I'm just going to dry this bit off at the bottom. Okay, so that's nicely dry now, and there's just a couple of little bits I need to put in, which is really shadow. So I'm going to use the intense phthalo blue, but quite watery. I've loaded my brush up as I've gone in, and I'm just going to pick out a little bit for each of these trees. I'm following the same sort of 45-degree angle, so I'm getting that shadow in. If it looks too strong, then with snow, it's always great to just dab a little bit off, because it gives an undulation to the snow. That's just with a bit of kitchen towel. So there we go. I shall see you tomorrow.